All right, so today we're going to talk about owning a car, investments, and credit cards. So the first thing we're going to talk about is owning a car. When you go to buy a car, there's things that will make it cheaper and more expensive. If you buy a used car, it's going to be cheaper than if you buy a new car. If you can put down a deposit or a down payment, even $2,000 can make a big difference in how much you're going to pay. And then the higher your credit score will be, the lower your interest rate will be, so that will make it cheaper as well. So we're going to look here at a few examples of credit scores and what that does to the interest rate. So this is for currently in 2024. These are very high credit scores here. So your credit score is how good are you at borrowing money and paying it back. Now your credit score right now is probably very low because you are just starting out and you haven't really done anything unless you have a credit card or unless you've made payments on a card that's in your name, or if you've done one of those two things with a parent or something like that, then you probably don't have much credit built up. So the lower your credit score, the higher the interest rate is going to be. So the interest rates go up as the lower our credit score is. And then for a new car, the interest rates are lower than for a used car. So we're going to do an example here, and we're going to pretend like you're going out today to buy a new car. So you would be pretty low if you wanted to go out today to buy a car, and we're going to buy a used car. So we're going to say that the interest rate is 18.89%. So if we come to our example here, we're going to cross this out, and we're going to do an interest rate of 18.89%. We're going to pretend our car is used and it's $26,899, and we're going to do a 5-year loan. That's usually what you want to do for cars. So the amount of our loan will be how much we borrow, so that'll be $26,899. Our interest rate is 1.889, but we're going to move the decimal over 2 spots. We make payments monthly as well with cars, so that'll be 12 times. And then we're going to do a 5-year loan. And then we're looking for the amount of the monthly payment. So we'll plug these in to our formula. And you can type in the top as long as you put this in parentheses up here. And if you type in the whole top, you should get 0.608254. The more decimals you put, the more accurate it will be. And then you can type in the bottom, and you'll get those numbers. So then we still have the 26,899 over here. So we'll type this fraction into our calculator, and if we divide these two numbers over here, we will end up with R times 38.63978. So that's equal to 26,899. So to solve for R, because we're looking for our monthly payment here, you're going to have to divide by 38.63978. And that will give you R, or your cost per month, your monthly payment, which should be $696.15. If your change is off a little bit, your decimals, that's fine, as long as it's $696. So this will be your monthly car payment. Now this is a very high monthly car payment. This would not be ideal. So if you end up having this high of an interest rate, you definitely would want to find a cheaper car, or try to put more down on the car. So now we'll talk about savings and investments. So there are two types of savings and investments. Saving accounts are nice because you can put money into a savings account, especially if it has a high interest rate, and then you can take money out of that whenever you want. There's usually not a minimum on the savings account. On the CDs, these are another type of investment you can do. They usually have a minimum and high interest rates. And then you will leave it in there for a period of time. So if it's a 1-year CD or a 3-year CD or a 5-year CD, you would leave it in there for that period of time. So if I choose a 3-year CD, I would leave it in there for 3 years, and I can't touch it until that 3 years is over. But that interest rate will stay the same for the whole 3 years. So I can leave that in there, and then when I take the money out, I will have gained more money. So in your example, you're going to pick one of each of those. But we're just going to do an example when we invest $1,000. We're going to have a 2.3% compounded monthly interest rate, and then we'll invest for 5 years. So this is the same formula we've used a lot in class. So our interest rate here will be 0.023. Compounded monthly, so we'll pay it 12 times a year, or we'll get interest 12 times a year. We're going to do it for 5 years, and we're starting by depositing $1,000. So we'll plug this into our equation. We're going to find A, what we'll end with after 5 years. So we'll have 1,000 times 1 plus, oops, I lost my 3 here, 0.023 divided by 12 to the 12 times 5, because that's our T. Here you can just type that all into your calculator as long as you put parentheses up here. And when you're done, you should end up with $1,121.75. So if you leave that in that CD or savings account that has 2.3% interest at the end of 5 years, you will have gained $121. So this is how much will be in that account at that time. And then one of the last things we're going to talk about is credit cards. So when you're paying a credit card, they only ask you to pay the minimum payment each month. And you get to avoid late fees, and your credit is not going to be affected if you do that. But it does not avoid interest. So you're going to gain interest on your account if you pay the minimum payment. So we're going to look at a couple examples here. Interest rates for credit cards can last between 20 and 30%. So we're going to look at an example here. If we have a credit card with an interest rate of 20%, and let's say we've racked up a balance on our credit card. So we're going to use this calculator here. So if you go to this QR code, you're going to use a calculator to fill in this table. So if we say let's say we've spent $2,000 over a couple months on our credit card. So we have $2,000 on our credit card. If we only make the minimum payment that they ask us to do, which if you type in $2,000 in on this website, they're going to tell you in a 20% interest, they're going to give you the minimum payment is 53.33. Again, you have to go here to this website to get that. Okay? And so then if you hit calculate, it's going to tell you how many months it takes to pay off the credit card. So it's going to tell you 186 months. So if you divide that by 12, you're going to get 15.5 years. So if you have a balance of $2,000 on your credit card and you only make the minimum payment of $53.33, it's going to take you 15.5 years to pay that off. That's a long time. And the website itself is going to tell you that your interest you're going to pay is $2,723.45. So that's not even including this $2,000 that you also paid back. So total, it will be these two together, your interest and your balance. You're going to pay all of that to this credit card company. So to add those together, and you'll get $4,723.45. But if you make your minimum payment $100, you're going to see that the number of years it takes to pay it off is going to go down really fast, and you're going to pay a lot less interest. So for the project part, you're going to use this calculator at this website to fill in the rest of this table, and then see what if you have a $5,000 balance if you pay the minimum versus $150 a month. And then the other part of the project here will be finding a car. So you can either choose a new or used car. That's up to you. And then you're going to go to the interest rates that I showed you in that table, and you're going to use the non-prime category with either new or used, whichever car you pick, to find your interest rate. The reason why we're using this category is because we're going to assume you're had a little bit of time to build credit. So like you're fresh out of college, you're buying a car at that point. So at that point, your credit will be a little bit better than what it would be right now, but it's still not going to be great. And then you're going to calculate the car payment using the formula and a 5-year loan. Okay, so you're going to find your car, tell me the type, the cost. You're going to tell me where you got that car from, what website. And then for the interest rate, that's when you're going to do the non-prime category in our list of interest rates. Okay, and then you'll do your calculations here to calculate the cost per month using the formula that we've been using in our notes. And then for savings and investment, you're going to find an actual CD or savings account. You can pick either one from a bank that you're interested in investing in, okay? And then you're going to calculate the investment for 10 years with $2,000. Okay, so the interest rate you're going to have to find by choosing a CD, and then you're going to tell me what the bank is of that CD that you found, and then you'll show me your calculations here, and you'll figure out how much you have in your account when you're done.